Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Cyclops' Long Box. I'm your host Cyclops, and today, through a request of Bobby Drake, the Iceman, we're talking about a version of a friend of his. Now, for those of you guys who don't know about the history of Bobby Drake, a friend of mine, he was on a short-lived team with a demigod. It was him, Angel, Black Widow, and a man by the name of Hercules, along with Ghost Rider. They were the champions. Among other things, they fought Godzilla. Well, one of Hercules' hobbies was he loved to collect comic books and movies featuring him. Some of his favorites were the movies that just kind of did unique things with him. His favorites, he loved Three Stooges meet Hercules. He just thought that was hilarious. Good taste. He also loved the Hercules series that was like Hercules meets the Moon Maidens versus the Moon Maidens and stuff like that. He also loved the Dell Comics adaptations of those adventures. So, Iceman asked if I could cover any of those. Well, luckily I have one of those in my long box. I picked up adaptation of one of those stories. So this is Hercules, the strongest man in the world. His mighty arms destroy the throne and launches a quest for the Golden Fleece. So this is an abridged version of essentially Jason and the Argonauts, which was one of Hercules' probably greatest adventures. I'm sure if you're here, if you find Hercules, probably get a few drinks and he'll tell you the story himself. From what Iceman tells me, that's one of Hercules' favorite stories. Also, he has quite a few movie adaptations of that particular story. That's one of his favorites. He also likes the G.I. Joe version, because apparently G.I. Joe covered a version of that, and he just thought that was just... That's like his favorite episode of that show. Yes, Hercules, big G.I. Joe fan. Who knew? But anyways, yeah, so this is the adaptation of the movie. You have some stills from there. Now, you have some nods here to Hercules' various feats. They, of course, give Hercules a romance interest. This is the girl is Jason's cousin. She introduces herself. Let's see here. I forget her name, but we also get Ulysses in here as well, which I don't think he was one of the original Argonauts. There's certain Argonauts that always are always the same, like Hercules and a few others, but they change from telling to telling. So I don't know if they use Ulysses because that was another famous character or not. I think Ulysses 2021 was a famous cartoon, so, but I think that came sometime after. But yeah, this is kind of a... Hercules is tasked in this particular story with training an arrogant son of the current king, whose brother was killed, but Hercules kind of doesn't get along with the kid. And he goes out to try and slay the lion. But the arrogant kid follows him and ends up getting killed. Now, it should be known, Hercules is going out there because he wants to protect the people. The kid is going out there because he wants to see Hercules get killed. But he ends up getting killed instead. So it's not Hercules' fault. He's going out there to do the right thing, protect the people. The kid is going out there to, essentially, to make fun of Hercules, and he ends up getting killed. So none of that's Hercules' fault. The king is kind of blaming everything on Hercules and sends him to the dungeon. It should be known the king had a prophecy that this person with one sandal would end up causing his doom. We later find out that's Jason, but that's for later in the story. And then we have the bull. That actually is part of Hercules' story of his trials. So the fact they put in the bull and the lion from Hercules' actual trials is kind of an interesting, a nice addition. If you guys know, the 12 layers of Hercules, the bull and the lion are in there. Actually, that's another funny thing. Hercules himself, in our universe, actually a big reader. Among his favorite books is the 12 Labors of Hercules by Agatha Christie. Yeah, you wouldn't know it, but he actually is a big reader. I've actually seen him read that book like multiple times. Bobby Iceman actually said that he's Hercules himself actually read the entire collection works of Agatha Christie, but he said he always ends up going back to the Hercule Poirot stuff. I guess because Hercules, pretty much named after him. But the 12 Layers is pretty much his favorite one, though he prefers the unreleased version of the Taming of Cerberus. Little Hercules trivia for there for you. But anyways, eventually after defeating the bull, Hercules finds Chiron, his old mentor, and he finds Jason, who Chiron saved. See that artwork here? So during the race back, Jason ends up losing a sandal. As I told you, the king had a prophecy about a man with one sandal foretelling his doom, so needless to say, this caused him trouble. So Jason has to go get the golden fleece to prove that he is, the one true king. So they give him the Argo, he puts together crew, the Argonauts, and then they go on an adventure. So we essentially get kind of an abridged version of their adventures. Sadly, we don't get the Cyclops. We get the Island of the Women, and then we get to the actual thing itself. So there's some parts missing, but it's an abridged version. We get the battle. We get Hercules fighting bad guys, which is what you want in the comic. Jason becomes king. Hercules sails away with his lady love. And then you get some historical facts about Greek warfare and the 12 Labors of Hercules. Overall, it's pretty cool. The interesting thing is Dell Comics themselves never answered the comic code because Dell had this seal of quality, essentially letting adults know that every comic you picked up was gonna be a safe comic for kids to read, as well as educational. Hence why they had this stuff about Greeks and the Labors of Hercules, because Hercules' stories were considered classic fiction. Hercules himself will tell you any story you read of his is worth reading. Also, he'll vouch for Agatha Christie. So overall, good story. I give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's a comic worth reading. The Dell comics usually are always really well enjoyable, especially the movie adaptations. I give it a 5 out of 5. I think Hercules, the strongest man in the world, is definitely worth checking out. Let me know if you guys have seen the movie and what you think. If you guys have seen any good movie adaptations of Jason and the Argonauts. Alright, until next time, this has been Cyclops' Long Box. I'm Cyclops, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this comic. And let me know what your favorite Hercules comic is in the comments below. I'm sure Hercules would love to know. Alright, until next time, to me, my X-Men. Comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you're new, and we'll see you next time.